text this to you. Just get both lineups and write it down in the book. You might be able to go on YouTube through my 445 right now.
Phil, are we doing run rule?
Yeah, you can take my phone.
10 after 7.
Hello, what was your name? Tom and Luis, that works. Thank you.
All right.
We're live technically right now. I just hit that just because it seemed like it was working. Okay.
For the Rough Riders, leading off number 24, Adam Atkins. Number 2, Jeff Sear. Number 28, Levi. The designated hitter. Number 34, Luke Lysenring. Batting 5th and playing second base, number 7, Jax Norse. Batting 6th, the catcher, number 22, Brock Downing. Batting 7th and playing first base, number 4. Batting 8th, the left fielder, number 25, Sawyer Lofstead. Right fielder, number 13, Derek Cunningham.
Check.
On mound for the Rough Riders, number 9, Jacob.
Check. Boulder Collegians baseball.
Check 1, check 2. Game day fields here in Parker, Colorado. Yeah, I can hear you.
Number 5, Brett Erickson. Batting second, first baseman, number. Batting third and catching, number 14, Brett Boner. Batting fourth to shortstop, number 23, Addison Cash. Batting fifth, center fielder, number 4, Nico Nixon. Batting sixth and playing left field, number 26, Brady Mitchell. Batting seventh, designated hitter, number 10, Mark Bullock. Batting eighth to third baseman, number 1, Danny Linehan. And batting ninth, right fielder, number 22, Marcus Altman. On the mound for the Collegian, number 6, Will Massa.
I know it. The flag, let's go. Do it.
This game represents tournament bracketing, game 1 of 15, perhaps 16, that will go through the weekend and finish up on Monday, the 23rd. All games here at Double Angel. Leading out for the Rough Riders, center fielder, number 24, Adam Atkins.
Yeah, me too. Welcome into Boulder. Bureau, joined by my partner Patrick Lyons. Collegians coming off a 3-2 win last night begin the playoffs. First pitch from Will Moss as a fastball at the bottom of the strike zone for a fastball strike one to lead off this game at 4:30 p.m. So Patrick, we're at game 1 of the playoffs. It's Collegians and Rough Riders. Massa on the mound. That pitch misses. It is the end of the summer, the first playoff game. It's been a wonderful summer for the Collegians. And Will Massa for the Collegians. That's why Eddie Toledo gave him the ball. Collegian outfielder Brady Mitchell coming in will make the play for the first out of the game.
That was Adam Adkins. Adding now the number 2 hitter, shortstop Jeff Sear. Hitting behind baseman Levi Leisingring. The DH is hitting cleanup, his brother Luke Leisingring. And hitting 5th, the second baseman Jax Norse.
To strike by the home plate official. The first pitch to Jeff Sear. Jeff Sear is a very good shortstop with some serious pop. We've actually seen him hit the fastball sky high and down the first base side. It's going to get out of play.
This is actually the 3rd start Will Massa will be making against these on June 26th. He threw just 2 innings before being relieved by Devin Elson, who did get the win in that game. He also pitched on the 4th of July and had a little bit less luck.
Strike 3, Massa gets him looking. First.
Continuing with the Rough Riders lineup, hitting 6th is their catcher, Brock Downing. The 7 hitters, the first baseman, Devin Bracken. The left fielder hitting 8th is Sawyer Lofstead, and Derek Cunningham, the right fielder, will be hitting 9th for the Rough Riders. To Levi Leisingring is swung on for strike 1. Whipped off the end of the bat over to the second. First base for the 3rd out here. Will Massa looking strong in the early going, being very efficient.
Runs, no hits, no errors, no they left. No score for the Rough Riders.
I'll duck 2 more. Here you go.
We're good so far, and it doesn't. Nobody is any the wiser. Very polished. And where did my customer help first?
Yeah, I know. You're right on the
Leading out for Boulder, second baseman, number 5, Brett Erickson.
Back here for the bottom of the first inning, Jake Shapiro joined by Patrick Lyons. First playoff game for the Collegians, 1-2-3 top half. For the Collegians, we head to the bottom half. They're the home team. Leading off, it's the second baseman, Brett Erickson, the small right-hander. Lines the ball right back up the middle, and it's
College is really finding his stroke here in the late part of the season and has been doing it in the extra base fashion. Went back and forth with manager Eddie Toledo about his power, and since that day he has been flashing a lot more of it and slashes a single right up the middle to get it started off for the Collegians.
First pitch here fouled off by Gioso. Gioso, a strong first baseman for the Collegians out of St. Mary's. Has had sneaky good offensive stats. Last night he reached base all 4 times. Pickoff attempt to first. Easy going. Erickson's back in there safely.
Gioso's definitely heated up during the second half of the season after a slow spell after our Tucson trip.
This pitch is fouled away once more off the bat of Gioso.
This is not the first game that the Collegians have played at Double Angel Park. We were on this stage about 3 weeks ago for a game against the Game Day Saints.
Pickoff attempt to first, and in again safely is Erickson. Misses.
Jacob Padilla trying to get into a rhythm for himself to find the strike zone here from Tom, the home plate umpire.
Padilla looks in, looks over to first, and now the pitch to Gioso. He couldn't hold up there. It's strike 3, out number 1 in the first. Erickson still out there on first after the single. That leads to the left-handed hitting catcher, Brett Bonar, out of Barton.
With one out and a runner at first base, now batting catcher.
Since the shift in the lineup by manager Eddie Toledo, where Bonar is hitting third in the lineup, he's getting a lot more at-bats, a lot more opportunities to see the opposing pitcher, and guarantees him a spot in the first inning.
First pitch to Bonar from Padilla, swinging hard and healthily, but missing the ball there is Brett. It was a two-seam fastball that caught the outside. Brett steps back into the batter's box, looks at his bat falcon, and ready to go. Check on first, and Erickson's fine without a slide. Said to him, get dirty. There is no dirt on this field. It's a turf field here, Patrick. Out of the stretch, the pitch misses away. Bonar watched it. It's ball 1. The count runs to 1-1.
Get turf is what they friction.
Bonar stops at first. Headed to third anyways was Erickson, and it's a of the first for Addy Cox.
Play it kind of
low on S.J. Mousseau. He'll be the first. Collegians runs in the second inning last night. Zone, it's 2-1. Padilla's fine accents. Comes set with his black stirrups. The pitch, two-seam fastball, and fouled down the first base line. 2 apiece.
Nice job by Collegians hitters to be patient. So going deep in the counts here.
Holds at third.
Definitely knew he had enough time to continue home. I think he would have been caught there by Jeremy Katz.
Base on
course, it would have been an infield fly, as the defense is put at a disadvantage. Gabe Gioso is at the plate, but he's able to. Gioso did strike out in his first at-bat, tried to check his swing, fortunately was unable to do so. Padilla set, gets his sign, rocks and fires. It's the first time we've seen Gioso towards the top of the lineup. Instantly been towards the middle and lower parts of the lineup when he was struggling to find his bat, but he has seemed to have found it here in the middle parts of the month of July. Manager Eddie Toledo giving him the opportunity to use his on-base prowess for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1-0 ball game. Are the home team as they are the 4th seed. Rough Riders bypassed the Colorado. 2 down.
Big pitch here. With the bases loaded, 2-2 count. Gioso has the ability to add on some insurance and change the game. Instead, Padilla also the ability to keep this at a 1-run game. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Pitch is fouled away. We'll do baseman Gabe Gioso. You mentioned it, Patrick. That has certainly come away one on media day. Just easy pop from Gabe Gioso. Kind of went away in the middle parts of June, but has definitely popped up again here as of late. From the stretch, steps off, and we'll look back for his sign. Everyone playing normal depth in the infield and outfield. Big lead off second for the Collegian. Curveball called. Strike Dia. He walks back and swagger to the dugout as the one for the Collegians, but Padilla will take it as the bases end up being the second. To the top of the third we go. 1-0 Collegians ahead.
Yes.
Sorry, man. I'm trying my best here.
No, you're doing great.
As soon as I turn away from my phone, then I lose contact with the customer service person. Should I deal with this?
No. Forget it. We'll have to do it later tonight.
First baseman, number 42.
Rough Riders, 1-0. Collegians ahead. 3 hits for the Collegians. A big play to end the second inning there by Will. Fielded a ground ball back to the pitcher. First pitch here to Bracken. Fastball into right field. Sky high for Marcus Saltman. Down the line, he'll make the one-handed grab, no problem. Out number 1. Patrick, describe that play because it was a beauty by Will Massa.
It really was. It chopped off the plate. Came up a little bit high, and you would have expected at Scott Carpenter Park for the ball to kind of die out on that thick grass. Massa came over to make the play, and it kicked up off of this AstroTurf high enough where Massa almost had to protect his face, barehanded it, fired over to first to get the runner downing just in the nick of time to end the second.
Back up the middle. Kosh is charging across the diamond. Not in time. It's an infield single for the first hit of the game here in the top of the third. Slow start for Kosh, and I think he was expecting the ball to come back a little harder. And Kosh turned out to be behind the play. That's a one.
To this AstroTurf field, it not being their home, we saw against the Saints. Knew how to work with this infield and outfield. It's also that there was a bit of moisture on the team, so Kosh having a hard time getting a read off of that bat, and you see it costing him.
Stretch works the pitch. It's a curveball to the left hole. 5-5 hole single for Cunningham, and it's 2 back-to-back singles here, which leads to Adam Atkins, the top of the order for the Rough Riders, and Will Massa all of a sudden is going to have to work out of it.
And Atkins put some good bat left fielder Brady Mitchell to start the ball game. And with 2 runners on right, need to get a strikeout.
First pitch by Massa to Atkins. Fastball.
That's been Massa's calling card, getting those first pitch strikes and getting ahead of these Rough Rider hitters.
Massa comes set, checks the ball, got him swinging. That was a dandy of a hook.
And we've gotten a very good look at his pitches, a lot more up close. We've been sitting up high, we've been sitting up farther back at Suits Field, but here we're right behind the action, and that was a beautiful curve from Massa.
First and second, one out. Collegians ahead 1-0. 0-2 from Massa to Atkins. Collegians playing pretty normal defense. Josh is playing a little bit towards the left side. Erickson might have to cover on pretty much anything. They're shifting the right-handed hitter quite a bit. Outfield playing pretty deep. Gioso behind the runner at first. From Will Massa. Curveball, strike 3. Atkins.
Strike out. Massa's now with 2 down. You can go on any of the bases against shortstop Jeff Sear, hooking during his first at-bat in the first inning.
Now this is the guy you probably don't want up at the dish with damage to the Collegians. Good hitting shortstop from the Rough Riders. First pitch is the other way in the sky. Long run for all. Grab. That's 3 outs for Will Massa again. He's through 3 innings. We go to the bottom half of the third. Collegians ahead 1-0. 3 hits for the Collegians, 2, both in that inning for the Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders in the top of the third. For the Collegians, catcher, number 14, Brett Boner.
Brett Bonar strides to the plate of Nebraska Omaha, but for now, all comes up and drills the umpire. No block there made by the catcher of the Rough Riders, Brock Downing.
Right wrist just a little bit. Just came up and bit him pretty good there, and pitches come in, you don't really get a chance to recover and rest. You got to get back behind the dish and see another fastball 85 miles an hour coming at your head.
This pitch sky down the left side. Easy play for Sear.
So we finished the second inning with the bases loaded as the Collegians were unable to convert. They had 2 popped out to the first baseman, and Gioso wanted to get hit by that curveball in the worst way, but unfortunately did not, and that was strike 3.
First pitch misses to Addy Kosh. Rough road from Boulder down 36 in the Broomfield area. Pitch misses, it's 2-0. So both these teams long drives today down Parker through the traffic of downtown Denver from the northern suburbs to the southern suburbs. Not as easy as it sounds. 2-0 pitch, and that almost leaves a mark on Addy Kosh, but he jumps out of the way. It's 3-0.
In fact, we don't have any teams in our league that play south of Parker, Colorado, so certainly one of our playoff games.
Fastball hit down the line. The 3-0 pitch is at least a single for Addy Kosh. Big turnaround first. He's going to get to 2. The left fielder throws it in from the corner, and it's a 1-out double for Addy Kosh.
Nice line. Didn't get to flash typical Kosh power, but it does go for extra bases as he tries to get a little 1-out rally coming up at the plate. And Nincy, of course, was featured at the top of the lineup for much of this season. Has had his strike. Toledo's dropping him here in the 5th, still putting him in a big spot and a spot to succeed, and we'll see what he does with the runner on second.
Padilla's pitch inside on the left-hander. Yes, this is a big spot, RBI spot for Nico, and plays the game pretty similarly to Charlie Blackman, you know, left-handed hitting center fielder. That's leadoff with pop, so... Just kind of dealing with that. 2-1 fastball, shot the other way, foul. Yeah, we didn't get the press box today. That's would have probably donned the sunscreen. Oh, thank you, Miss Bullock.
And there we go. We've got our sunscreen angel helping us out.
Bryce's mom coming up huge from...
Pretty neat to go old school and get sunburn as broadcasters. I mean, does that happen anymore?
2-2, Nintzy swings at a pitch, and the throw not in time from Brock Downing. Maybe a poor decision there from Downing as he tried to get the styled pitch. No error involved on the play.
I do like the gutsy call from Downing as the ball had skidded away of the box, so his momentum was taking him over there, and, you know, his throw down to third would have had to have been perfect, but unfortunately was not enough.
And not a knock on Nico by any means, but it's right there he did, and it gave the Collegians a base runner. This pitch shot into center from Brady Mitchell. That's at least scoring Kosh from third, and it does. Nitzy hangs up on first, and that big sac fly from Brady Mitchell. Collegians add 2-0 as they take advantage of the small ball.
Doing all the little things correctly there. Kosh moving over on the wild pitch. He knows that he could drive out into the outfield for a sac fly, and like that, they now have 2 runs to nothing against those Rough Riders.
That pitch misses in the dirt, and I just want to reiterate on play, and that's why it was a tough play for Downing. He opted to go to third instead of first. Like I said, no strikeout doesn't always go down leaks. Right there, Nico realized it's unlikely that he was going to get to first. Collegians ahead 2-0 here as we in Parker, Colorado.
That sounds great. Sounds very good. That's an unearned run, though, because it's a... Oh, no, it is an earned run, because it's on the pitcher. Yeah. Pass ball is on the catcher, but... Oh, I get first dibs? What is Sweetie Pie?
You need it way more than that.
You darn dude. One gigantic freckle. You're just gonna be too late already.
Well, I think when Howard Cosell had started out, he got sunburned.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, this little tent or something popped up. That's not that hard to come by.
Leading off the fourth for the Rough Riders, third baseman, number 28, Levi Lysenring.
Levi Lysenring leading off the top half of the Legions, who are ahead 2-0. Lysenring, his first time up, grounded out to the second baseman. First pitch here, grounded over to the left side, foul. Will Money Massa, that's his nickname, local kid, went to Fairview High School. Playing for his home family necessary for Will. Of course, his father, I know his father's tuning in. That pitch is strike. Massa ahead 0-2, seeking another strikeout. He's already got 3. Massa's pitch, strikeout number 4. It was an off-speed pitch left high. Lysenring tried to hit it about 1,000 miles approach you won, and it ended up with him packing his bags. At the bat is Jack Norse. Or Luke Lysenring, I'm sorry, and that pitch misses for a ball. Thought I was seeing double. I was literally seeing double because they're... That's a strike. It's 1-1. Luke, the DH tonight. Massa from the off speeder catches the outside and strike out Lysenring again, ahead 1-2. Massa looking in confidently into his windup, kicks and deals. Off-speed pitch that's in the right-handed batter's box. Fortunately, there's a left-handed batter, so it doesn't hit anybody.
Now, if I had to guess,
Bounced around it, and count runs full.
I come out of the hand late and have a tendency to swing out right, like that pitch was.
And the circle change works well. That's why he's so tough on lefties. All the pitches sink away from the left hand. In the middle of the plate and the left side, Danny David listening defensively.
With the start of fire, you're not too far off.
That's your skin starting to fire.
That's right. It's already a little bit on fire as our sunscreen angel, Miss Bullock, did a nice job helping us out.
Grounded right back to Massa. We've seen this before, and he takes care of it himself. Another 1-3 put out. That ends the top of the fourth. The Collegians nothing.
Top of the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. After 3 1/2 innings of play, Collegians lead 2-0.
I think you missed a couple lyrics on it. Oh, I like that.
Hey, no suntan lotion. It's not allowed here.
What's that? Are you kidding me? Our pitchers are using it. They just got a little behind the ear. That's all right, right?
Sure.
Yeah, check. You might want to check. Right, see, look, they're all upset already.
Just kidding. They use shaving cream. Now I got that song in my head. I am a walking fire.
You have red hair and now red skin.
All right, you're up. That should last me about 12 minutes. Set my alarm. Maybe. Potential first. Maybe. Jack Norris was a strikeout? Oh, no, 1-3. Yeah. Yeah, Astros. How about that for our first game, World Series champs? Sheesh.
Got a perfectly strategized like I did. My first interview ever was Justin Morneau. I always can say I interviewed for MVP first.
Wow.
First pitch to Danny David Linehan, slapped foul down the third base line. Collegian half of the fourth. They've got 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and no errors for the Rough Riders. They don't have doing a great job on the hill for the Collegians. That pitch misses low. And this field feeds in a long storied history of Collegians baseball. And when I say long storied, I do not hyperbolize at all. That pitch David Linehan may have caught in a bit of luck there. Maybe because Patrick was joking with the umpire in between innings. Fanning him over. But anyway, as Padilla goes back in the line, the pitch, it's strike 3, and that was strike 2. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself there. The long storied history of the Collegian Hall of Famers, many World Series champions, and dozens and dozens of big leaguers that none did what Dawson Pomeroy did when he was at this field 3 weeks ago throwing a complete game, 1-hit shutout with 15 strikeouts. Of course, in the second game of that doubleheader against the Game Day Saints, he also got a hit from both sides of the plate as a switch hitter as Danny David Linehan takes a walk. So not only did he do something as a pitcher in that doubleheader that had not been done, rarely done at this level on.
Dawson Pomeroy has definitely been a godsend for the Boulder Collegians. He was a late addition after Brett Bonarn, one of those teammates, made a phone call and said, hey, you want to get some reps in this summer? And lo and behold, on that fateful day. First pitch to Marcus Altman, a little high and tight as he shows bunt. Each run in this ball game has been crucial so far. The next one maybe even more so.
1-0, and bunt is down from Altman. It's a sacrifice score at 1-3, with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth.
Excellent piece of bunting from Altman. You can't ask for any more than that. In sport, in which the fundamentals seem to be going away. We saw in the All-Star game Tuesday night, it was all about the home run, the strikeout, the walk, the 3 true outcomes. But Marcus Altman showing that fundamentals are still alive and well in Boulder College. Long ball.
Chicks dig the long ball. And Collegian connection there. Bryce Bullock, who's on the bench right now, That's his pitching coach at UNLV, and Bryce is not a pitcher, but he pitched last night for these Collegians and provided 2 innings of scoreless baseball against the Denver Browns. Erickson at the plate, runner in scoring position. Collegians are going to need some insurance is the thought. Pitch is in the dirt. This is game 1 of the playoffs. As a whole of the RMBL turns will take on the winner of the Colorado Pirates game, which is tomorrow, and the Collegians will play that winner on today was Thursday.
Should the Collegians win out through Sunday, the championship game, I believe, is on Monday, my birthday. So that will obviously be a W for me.
1-0 pitch is fouled back.
On Monday, if they're in the championship game. Sure, it's the Rocky Mountain Baseball League championship. And if those boys knew that it was my birthday, I don't want that pressure to be on them. So
better let them know.
We'll just take one game at a time.
Mark Goulart performs well under pressure. We've seen that a bunch of times this year. Padillo's 1-1, and it's 2-1.
Well, Goulart performs well under pressure. That's why, besides being the Portuguese pitbull, he's also the Diamond Dog, because he performs well under pressure. He's got 2 nicknames now. Look at that.
After Bowie as well. That's big time. 2-1 from Padilla in the dirt again. Is that what you were going for, Bowie?
Absolutely, Diamond Dog.
Dancing Day? No. Good. There's a couple good songs. 1 out, 3-1 pitch. Runner on second. Erickson bounces this over to the left side. Just foul over the bag.
David Bowie, of course, his favorite minor league team in the Baltimore Orioles organization, the Bowie Bay Sox, spelled just like David Bowie. Jake, you're looking at me like you didn't know that.
3-2-1. 3-2 is the count into left field. Moving back is the left fielder. He will run out for the small in stature but large in bat, Brett Erickson. 4-0 Collegians. Big-time contact from the right hand. All to get out, but on the hot day, the 355 and run.
We teased the fact that his power had been coming along. Toledo, and was seeing a lot more pop coming off his bat during the final 2 weeks of the season. And tell you what, he couldn't have hit that ball any better, right? The Collegians, a nice 4-1 lead.
Home run scores Gabe Gioso as well. With 1 out in the 4th, the Rough Rider bullpen gets to work as well. So now it's about damage control and getting a rally for the Rough Riders offense and pitch, and they'll take game 1 here. Huge swing by Brett Erickson, and how about moving him into the leadoff spot with 2 hits and scoring 2 runs of these 4. First pitch to Bonar is a strike. Or I'm sorry, that's Gioso is a strike.
Yeah, Erickson has been doing it all from the leadoff spot. You talk about Nincy having that great leadoff power like Charlie Blackmon, but Erickson is the one who leads off and hits that deep home run. Kind of like a DJ LeMahieu type second baseman, if you will, but about 2.5 feet shorter.
2.5 feet shorter.
I'd say guesstimate. It could be 2.25. I'm not sure.
0-2. Gioso watches a curveball that bounces before it gets to the plate, the old 58-foot curve. And, yeah, that was a pitch that just hung up in the loading, especially after fighting back and then with more power than I've seen from him, even in batting.
Along slowly but surely. And keep in mind, he is a true freshman.
2-2 called. Strike corner against Gabe Gioso. He's headed back to the dugout. That's the 3rd strikeout for Gabe Gioso. He's got the hat trick.
And, you know, certainly that 3rd strikeout, not what you want to see out of him, but he understands what's happening in this game, and his glove over there at first base, as well as the being not arguing with the umpire, not getting himself ejected, lot left of this ball game to play, and there'll be bigger and more battles to come for the young first baseman.
Bonar at the plate, ahead 1-0. Left-handed hitter slices this towards the second. Bonar's headed to second for a hustle double. It's off the wall as it dribbled all the way there in the right center gap, and it's a 2-out double for
from Bonar. Sure, it may have only been a line drive, but that bad boy kicked into the nether regions of Double Angel Ballpark at 384 feet. Good enough for a double, so the power might not be high and far, but it was certainly straight and far. And that gives Kosh another opportunity. He drove in the first run of the ball game. He grounded out to the shortstop, allowing Erickson to score the first run of the ball game. And it looks like that may mark the end of Jacob Padilla's day.
I'm Jake Shapiro. Playoff in the bottom of the fourth.
Jared Rivera. Yeah, Jared Rivera. You're welcome. We can get in the ear of the guy who's doing the broadcasting and let him know, like, hey, we can actually help you out by seeing the numbers and the changes and pronunciations, et cetera, you know?
Okay. 4-0 Collegians as they've just knocked out the starter, Jacob Padilla, here in the bottom of the fourth. Jared Rivera on to face Addison Kosh after the 2-out double by Brett Bonar. 4 runs on 7 hits for the Collegians, and 3 of them have come in this fourth inning. Will Moss on the other side is dealing. Rivera is a sidearmer, so you'll see him deal out of that after the stretch. Set, stretch, sidearm, ball.
Even sinker ball-esque, you could probably say. And he fared well on the 4th of July against the Boulder Collegians because in his 2 innings of work did not give up a single run, walked 2, but did not strike out a batter. So he was effective in his last time out.
Thinker, and that's a tough pitch. You know, I've talked to Pat Neshek a ton of times about that, and Pat deals out of this similar submarine arm slot, the 3/4 submarine arm slot, and his sinker actually rises. 1-1 from Rivera. It's into right field. That's going to get foul.
Yes, certainly anytime you dip down low, it doesn't even have to be a wiffle ball in order to get that ball to rise or to get the ball to have that intense type of movement that submariners and those real low. Rivera's using that to his advantage here in the early going against Kosh, who's down 1 ball, 2 strikes.
1-2 to the shortstop, Kosh. 2 outs, runner on second is Bonar. The pitch, it's a curveball, shot over to the second baseman. Easy play, 4-3 put out. That ends this 4th inning finally for the Rough Riders. 2 runs across for the Collegians on a 2-run shot by Brett Erickson over the left. 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runs are to the Rough Riders, part of the 5th here in Parker, Colorado.
I can come back with his stats, too. Back here in the top of the 5th at Double Angel Field, where the Collegians lead 4-0. Rough Riders will bring Downing, Bracken, and Lofstead up to the plate. They are combined 1 for 3 here. A ball. Massa has had 4 strikeouts here through 4 innings, has yet to walk a bat. He is surrendered in the 3rd inning. We're both singles, and this one back up the middle will also be a single for the hot-hitting catcher, Brock Downing. First leadoff runner in an inning against Massa.
And it helps that he's now got that 4 runs of insurance to work with. Collegians haven't been offering their pitching all that much insurance throughout the course of the year. First pitch from Massa here is deemed a strike. What I mean by that is it seems like the offense is going on certain days and the pitching is going on other days, and it hasn't lined up much.
Thankfully for the Collegians, it's lining up at the exact right moment here in the playoffs.
Curveball misses. It's 1-1 against Bracken.
Downing is getting a nice healthy lead over there on first base, trying to get a secondary lead. His run, of course, not terribly important as they're down by 4 runs, but wants to try to get every inch he can here to get his team on the board.
1-1 curveball that catches the inside corner, front door curve by Massa. He's ahead 1-2. That's right on the money, so to speak. Bonar giving the signs. Massa looks in, comes set, checks first, checks it again, checks it 3 times. Then the pitch, it's a fastball. Ooh, right on the outside corner. It is a ball this time. The count evens at 2 apiece.
Brett Bonar tried to frame that ball just so, but home plate umpire Tommy Boy was not trying to have it.
Pitch from Massa, and it's spat the other way. That's a down first thing from the single, back-to-back singles to start out the 5th. Massa worked around back-to-back singles in the 3rd, although they came with 1 out.
That fast-playing outfield has been somewhat of a bane for the Rough Riders here. You saw Brett Bonar's simple line drive getting all the way to the fence with the fast outfield, and in that case, the Downing for moving over to 3rd.
Lofstead showing bunt, gets it down, popped a bit to Massa. He's going to fire to 3rd, gets Danny David Linehan right in the chest, and that's out number 1. Runner hesitated moving from 2nd to 3rd, didn't see it down right away, so he had to hold up to prevent himself from the double play and score that a fielder's choice. 1-5, Massa playing athletically out there on the mound.
Good wherewithal and communication. Bonar letting Massa know, obviously, hey, on your backside is 3rd base. You got an opportunity for it. And the ball's lined into right center field by Derek Cunningham, but Altman comes over to make the easy grab for the 2nd out here in the top of the 5th.
So it looked like the Collegians were in a jam there against 2 guys who had gotten hits, both of them swinging on the first pitch. One, granted, was a bunt, and Collegians get 2 outs and 2 pitches there as it looked like the Rough Rider leadoff hitter Adam Atkins struck out in the 3rd, flew out to left in the 1st. This is the 5th, 2 runners on, 2 outs. 4-0 Collegians ahead. Massa comes set out of the stretch, checks the runner on 2nd, then delivers the pitch. Fastball, and it's crushed into left field. Moving back is Brady Mitchell. He's out of room. 3-run home run, Adam Atkins. A huge block 1 as the deficit is shortened by the Rough Riders. Was just about to say Rough Riders need to chip a fast plate. Again, first pitch swinging. 3 bats on the first 2 first pitches swinging. But law of averages in baseball say that 1 out of 3 guys are likely to get a hit. 3rd guy smacked it over the left center fence right where Brett Erickson had put it. First pitch here, another fastball. No first pitch swing that time.
After the top 5 hitters in the Rough Riders lineup went a combined 0 for 10. Adam Atkins, in the 3rd time through the order, makes Collegian starter Will Massa pay.
Massa head 0-2 now.
Devin Elson heading to the bullpen to get loose just a little bit.
Quickly unraveled there for Massa. That's what a 3-run blast will do. 0-2 pitch, curveball up high, and it looks like Massa tanking, exposing what he's got here over the next maybe inning and a half. Will maybe try to go through the 6th inning, but now knows he's got to task it. Shot way high up the elevator shaft. Looks like it's to the left side. Danny David Linehan comes down with it for the 3rd out. But now get 3 on the 3-run shot by Adam Atkins, and That's 3 runs on 3 hits here in the 5th. No errors for the Collegians. We head to the Collegian half of the 5th. They lead 4-3.
Nobody left after 4 1/2 innings of play. Collegians 4, Rough Riders 3.
Her name is Michael?
Yeah. It's a biblical name. That was the name of one of the characters' wives.
Michaela, I thought might be her name. Maybe not. Right. Can you check? No, okay, check that. She's good. You up? Oh, come on. How's your softball team doing? Softball team doing great. Jared! No? Is it getting a vibe, maybe? Intramural soccer?
Getting out the 5th for the Boulder Collegians.
All right.
Center fielder number 4, Nico Nitze.
Oh, I missed it.
I'll take it.
Back for the bottom half of the 5th. Collegians' lead has been cut to 1. Nico Nincy slipping out of the box, grounding out to second base to start the bottom half of the 5th. And hey, if you've started to the bottom half of your 5th, Patrick Lyons.
I have.
Good.
And, these Rough Riders are feeling a little bit better about themselves. They've got momentum on their side, and certainly if starting pitcher Will Massa comes back out there, I think their 3, 4, 5 hitters are going to be happy to have a third opportunity to face the Legion and Boulder, Colorado native.
Rivera, the sidewinder, came in to get the last out of the 4th, dealing in his second inning of relief. That's a 2-seam fastball or a sinker, depending on what you want to call it, in on the hands of Brady Mitchell there, fouled into the Collegians' dugout. You rarely see that out of his own dugout, but it happens when you've got someone throwing it that much in on the hands. 1-1 from Rivera. Ooh, that's a slider that gets in there for a strike, and swinging under it was Brady Mitchell. Brady's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a sacrifice fly. That one floated high.
Obviously with being a side armor, there's not a lot of velocity coming off of Rivera's fastball, but trying to read the baseball out of his hand is a very difficult task. It's coming in at various angles, and it's hard to pick up that movement.
Swinging and missing is Brady Mitchell. That's a strikeout. Out number 2 as momentum has started to head the Rough Riders' way. You feel that too, Patrick?
I'm just feeling my skin starting to bubble up a little bit from all the sun. But other than that, there might be something else. Could be the momentum shifting.
You're like the guy in bench warmers right now. You can't see it on the broadcast, but Patrick is hiding behind the wall trying to avoid contact with the sun. I'm out here right behind home plate. Rivera sidewinding deals, and watching this pitch go wide is the DH, Mark Goulart.
And if anyone's going to get a 2-out rally going, it's this guy right here who's got a lot of energy, and when he goes, the team certainly goes behind him.
Pitch misses high. He's got an opportunity to get that rally going. Ahead 2-0. Mark got hit by a pitch his first time up. Grounded out last time. Rivera working out of the stretch exclusively, comes set. Sidewinder deals, and it's inside 3-0. Goulart being very patient here. Danny David Linehan, the third baseman, on deck. Danny David and Goulart walks here. It's going for a couple nights.
No real urgency for the Collegians to try to get back those 3 runs or even a single run with a single swing of the bat. Goulart taking his pitches, drawing his walk, and allowing the next guy in the lineup to do his part. And that's Danny David, who's done exactly that so far with 2 walks. But first pitch from Rivera on the inside portion of the plate. Swung on and missed by Linehan.
Jared Rivera comes set. Checks the runner on first, Goulart. Time called at the plate right before the pitch, and Danny David, heady player, playing a head game.
And he's, anytime on the field, you've got yourself another coach out there, and he thinks like one, and we'll see if that timeout was timely.
We talk about a couple guys on the Collegians as future big leaguers. 0-1 to Danny David, that misses. It's 1-1, and obviously there are a couple guys, Bryce Bullock, Devin Ellison, candidates to be in that class, but in terms of guys that are probably going to be in the big leagues, Danny David Linehan, a candidate to do that as a coach. He's just so smart with his baseball knowledge. Goulart taking off with the pitch, high throw, and it's into center field. Goulart's going to hang up at second with the stolen base. That pitch missed, and ahead is Danny David Linehan, 2-1 as well.
And that's Goulart's second stolen base of the game. Certainly not at the top of the list of fastest players for the Collegians, but certainly one who knows what pitch is coming, when's a good opportunity to know the weaknesses of the opposing catcher. So Goulart doing a nice job to get himself in scoring position.
Let's see if Didi can cash, and he's ahead 3. On deck again, Marcus Altman, who has singled and sacrificed fly today in front of Brett Erickson, the leadoff man who's been the player of the game thus far. 3-1 for David Linehan, watching again and walking to first. Third one of the game.
You know, oftentimes parents and coaches might say, do as I say, not as I do, but Danny David Linehan can certainly walk it like he talk it. Drawing the third walk of the ball game and showing his teammates a little bit of patience can go a long way in this ball game.
Pitch strike zone as the Collegian part of the lineup, this bottom part, is a bit more patient than the top half, and it's paying off. 1-0, runner takes off from second, Goulart. High tops at third, he fell down on the turf. Goulart had home easily on the throw into left field, but unfortunately, we saw that cost the Collegians not only a run, but a game early.
And I thought Goulart had touched the bag originally, but I think he didn't want to chance it, so case. Now Altman's got 2 runners in stats. He's singled in the second, and he had a crucial sacrifice.
Swinging and missing there is Marcus Altman, and now down to the last strike of the inning. Collegians have 2 on in scoring position, 2 outs. They're ahead 1, need some crucial insurance after. Here comes set, delivers, and that's Altman goes down swinging. Second strikeout of the inning for Rivera. So no hits for the Collegians, just 2 walks there and a couple stolen bases. We go to the top of the 6th, 4-3. They're ahead. We'll see if Will Moss is back out for another inning.
For the Collegians in the home half of the 5th inning, no runs on no hits, there were no runners, 2 runners left after 5 complete. Collegians 4, Rough Riders 3. Coming back for the Rough Riders, Lyson, and Morse.
Well, if that's what you're saying he traded for, then
Two more.
Moss is still out there. Yeah, I got that Altman comment in there because his powers were coming, and I wanted to say for Erickson, this is a chance. And he went Gonzo.
Let's go. Keep it going.
Good enough for the Rough Riders here in the top of the 6th.
You're not bad.
Third baseman, number 28, Levi Lyson.
Jake Shapiro, Patrick Long. First playoff game of the whole entire RMBL tournament. It's the 4 and 5 seeds, Collegians and Rough Riders here in Parker against the Rough Riders. And really good record for the Collegians. Unfortunately didn't carry over much into league play. Inning of war against the Rough Riders. 3-hole hitting, third Livens ring. And that's up the elevator shaft. Baseman Brett Erickson, and he'll take care of that pop-up. And Patrick, have a long road ahead of them if they want to get to Wichita and win this RMBL tournament, especially with the Black Bears likely to win their next game, and that would be the Collegians matchup. That would take place on Saturday here in Parker, but where expecting the way this is going for the Collegians for them to get another shot at the Black Bears, who we've seen as a very capable team.
The entire RMBL will have to go through those Rough Riders, and Sterling Express are nothing to shake a stick at, as they're the 2 seed.
Pitch misses away. It's 1-1.
They also could be to get to that championship. So this is just the start of it. And although Massa has been one of the most effective pitchers for the Boulder Collegians, it may take some of their more heavier arms, particularly velocity and velocity pouch-wise.
2-1. Misses away. It's 3-1.
And they'll still have those guys 3 and potentially Game 4 in the championship.
It's one of the reasons why Matt Jensen threw yesterday. 3-1 curveball, spat on towards the first base coach, pitching as he could as the Collegians head into the tournament. And, of course, with the guaranteed off day tomorrow, no matter what happens, correct, Patrick? Massa probably how many innings he does throw and issues a leadoff walk, unfortunately, which is pretty big in Collegians.
And that's one of the strengths of this Collegians team.
If it is anymore, there have been some that the depth has been helpful, that they still have good pitching, but, you know, Patrick, it's not as plentiful as it was going into the start of the season.
Well, I consider it to be a strength from the area of that
Field line. 3-12 out there. It is just foul. What a one-hop the fence, and been a double for the batter there, Jeff Norse, and fortunately for the Collegians, couple inches foul.
Touching on the starting pitching or pitching in general for the Collegians, certainly it's a much less depth than the start of the season, but it's still more depth than a lot of these other teams have here in the RMBL playoffs.
Every time we've seen this Rough Riders team play, that pitch misses. It's 1-1. We've seen the same relievers come in, so that vision, and of course we've seen that as dominant. And then Brett Bonar makes the basket catch underhanded for the second out. Score it, foul out, pop out, 2 to Bonar. Runner still on first. Leisenring on the
game is kind of going the way manager Eddie Toledo may have drawn it up. Certainly they would like to still have just a single run right now, but they're getting a lot out of Will Massa, and he's got a bit of a rubber arm, so him again, I don't know if it'll be as early as Saturday, but eat up a lot of innings in that championship game on Monday.
Pitch here misses high against the catcher Brock Downing, who singled last time and was thrown out trying to advance to third. On a sacrifice, but they've got a 3-run home run. Pitch, Massa's control is starting to evade him.
Pitch count getting all singled off of Massa, so they've gotten a good look at him, just haven't made hard contact.
Pitch misses again. It's 3-0. Runner on first with 2 outs. That runner came on a walk. On deck for the Rough Riders is Davin Bracken, who singled and scored last time.
And if Massa potentially walks this runner, we may see Devin Elson come in the game to face Devin Bracken.
Pitch misses high. 4 pitch walks are probably the worst kind, especially with 2 outs.
And Bracken has made the best contact of any of these 4 hitters towards the bottom of the lineup who have all singled. He did fly out to right field in his first at-bat, so he provides the biggest pop. He is a rather larger-sized first baseman, so this is a big spot. Toledo's discussing with Massa, seeing if Massa can possibly convince Toledo. Massa made a compelling enough argument as to why he should stay in this ball game.
That's the old Eddie Toledo comes out, how do you feel? And Massa goes, no, go back to.
And you know who did that a lot in his days in the 90s that I grew up watching a lot was David Cohn. And I tell you what, Will Massa has got a lot of David Cohn in him.
Tying run on second, 6, 2 outs. Massa on the hill. First pitch here. Swinging and missing on the hardy hack is Davin Bracken. Big 2 outs all back, and now Massa has an opportunity for another strikeout. He's got a couple in the game.
This would be his 5th of the ball game. And I think one of the other pieces that Eddie Toledo told Massa was empty the tank.
Massa working out of the pitch. Fastball didn't get as low as Bonar wanted it. Fortunately for the Collegians, all Bracken could do was foul off as it was thrown at Patrick. Runner on first is Brock Downing, the catcher. Luke Leisenring is on second. He's a DH. Massa comes set, 0-2. Curveball by Davin Bracken and able to foul that pitch off. We'll do 0-2 again.
Be interesting to see if Massa comes low and inside again with everything he's got. See if he can get that two-seam fastball ticked up to the mid-80s.
Collegians ahead on a 2-run homer. 0-2, 2 outs, ahead by 1. In the dirt, and good block by Bonar with the tying run on second. This is the RMBL playoffs, and the biggest spot of the game thus far in the Will Massa at the end of his line, the Collegian starter, trying to finish the job tonight. Massa checks second, time called at the plate. Do want to make a quick note, this is a 9-inning game, not a 7-inning game. We've seen a couple of those over the course of the year. Massa looking in at the catcher, Brett Bonar from Barton. Brett calls a great game. Runner on first and...
For the Riders in the top of the 6th inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left. After 5.5, Collegians 4, Rough Riders 3.
Oh, I know what I read. That was 7. It was 10 runner left for 7.
I don't know. I'm not.
Like Galt.
I'm jealous that you're sitting in the shade.
Me after the ball.
I was fine.
I have half eatery too.
John, your girlfriend come to watch?
Well, she's in Texas. Jesus Christ. She's watching the game
so you have a
online.
girlfriend?
Oh, no. Thank God. She's online right now.
God bless. You go.
Corvette Chick 3155. She's watching.
No, she's more of a Lamborghini, hobo.
Hey,
John, she says no one does it better than you. Sounded it.
One half of the 6th inning here, Collegians 8-4-3 in game 1 of the league tournament for 2018. Leading out the 6th for the Collegians, second baseman, number 5, Brett Erickson.
Jake Shapiro, Patrick Lyons, bottom of the 6th inning. Collegians ahead 4-3. 7 hits for the Collegians, no errors on either side. 5 fifth. Collegians with 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. That's how they've scored their runs. Brett Erickson responsible for a couple of those runs. And again, Brett Erickson with a line drive there. Gets single here in the 6th. He's got his 3rd hit of the ball game.
And Erickson, when he gets hits, he only does it in bunches. We saw him go 4 for 4 not that long ago out of the leadoff spot. And he's only got 3 right now, so he may have 1 more left in this 9-inning affair.
Our guy Michael has just tuned in on the YouTube live stream. Patrick, glad to have him.
Good to see you, Michael. Good to see you.
Erickson getting his lead off first. Gioso struck out 3 times today. He's going on the pitch. The slide by Erickson in time on the throw from Brock Downing. We thought last inning, we talked about it during the break, Patrick, that Mark Goulart may have exposed a wild arm of the catcher, but right there on the money, and it cost the Collegians their first out here in the 6th.
And, you know, while there may be some truth to that, I think the call in which they ran on and the pitch that Rivera made, it was just so that it made it real nice and easy for Brock Downing to fire a strike to the shortstop, Jeff Sear, for the first out here in the 6th.
0-2 pitch misses wide.
On a different pitch, maybe something like 0-2, something where you're going to get a curveball away in the dirt, getting a good jump like that, might not even want with no outs.
1-2 curveball, and again going down swinging is Gabe Gioso. 4th strikeout of the game for Gabe against Rivera, and they can't all be winners. Yesterday got on base
for Rivera there against Gioso.
And keep it away. As well, he's got 2 hits in the ball game. An away fastball to the arm side and not deemed a strike. You know, Rivera's showing great glove side control of that pitch, but not as well to the arm side, which leads me to believe Brett Bonar's in business here. 1-0, and that pitch misses wide.
and the scouting report might not be completely out on Bone. Exceptional power to all fields, so we have yet to see him go opposite field for a home run, but we've certainly seen a lot of extra field line.
2-0 from Rivera, and that fastball misses high. 2 outs here. Bonar ahead 3-0. On deck is Addison Kosh. Collegians ahead 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Brett Erickson singled and was caught stealing in this half inning for the Collegians. 3-0 from the reliever Rivera. That pitch misses again. All 4 pitches missing wide.
That brings up that Rivera last go around on Independence Day, and two innings of work without giving up a single hit or a walk. He only faced the lineup 1 time. So now, this being the 2nd time through the order, it'll be interesting to see how the Collegians hitters approach Rivera.
Grounded out last time to the second baseman. The sidewinder deals, and it's outside on a fastball. We've walked to Bonar, and now to the righty Kosh. 8 hits for the Collegians, 1 home run on each side. 2-run shot by Erickson of the Collegians and a 3-run shot by Atkins for the Rough Riders. Pitch misses wide again. It's 2-0, 6 straight balls. That leads a meeting at the mound of the minds of the Rough Riders.
No stirring right now. They do have themselves,
and they're the most patriotic team in the league too.
They are. They love one of the finest uniforms, I think, probably in our entire league. And that says something, particularly since we've got at least 3.
I like the Colorado Sox uniforms a lot. That's a good, clean look. Looks like the 1970s White Sox with SOX crest. 2-0 now by Rivera. He may be wearing red. Yes, that happened. They also shorts and polos. Pickoff attempt to first. In back safely is Bonar. You know, it's weird. That's a funny pickoff move because a lot of guys that deal sidearm actually pick off overhand, but that was a sidearm pickoff. 3-0. Doubt he's swinging. He's not. It's another 2-out walk. 8 straight balls by Rivera. And the Rough Riders are in a bit of trouble as Nico Nincy steps to the plate.
Minimum of 4 games to win the championship. The Rough Riders are going to need for Jared Rivera so they don't burn through too many more of their arms. Still no movement in their bullpen.
8 straight balls, 9 straight. And this is they're ahead 1 run, and they've got 2 insurance runs out there, both on walks. Rivera's dealt 4 had 1 hit, but it was a race. They've had 4 walks over the last 2 innings. Oh, and that's outside as well, and that draws a mound.
Jake, did you ever throw sidearm as a pitcher? You seem like you might have.
Of course I did.
Of course you did.
I had a 3/4 release, and you can't see it on the broadcast. Somewhere between my shoulder, if I was throwing completely horizontal to the ground, and my saying pronate, so all my balls curled back in on right-handed hitters, and that's why I got a shunky delivery and also throwing all sinkers essentially.
I also was a bit of being a guy who would dip down from various angles, and all his pitch hands. One of the reasons why he was one of the most effective, if not underrated, pitchers on the New York Yankees teams in the mid to late 90s.
10 straight balls from Rivera, and that makes it 11. Modern guys that do that, Clayton Kershaw does it every once and again. Rich Hill does it all of the time. Basically, you can get and confuse the batter.
Perhaps I should give him a phone call because I have yet to get a blister on my fingers when I did that.
3-0, and finally a strike right down the middle, and of course Nitzy was taking there. Do you let Nitzy swing away here, 3-1?
I do. If Bonar can get himself a solid secondary lead, I think it can extend the lead to 2 runs.
2 straight walks by the Collegians, swinging and chops it over the first base coach, John.
Job with his pitches that he chooses to swing at. Great at his pitch selection in that fashion. And he's up there even with that 3-0 count. You could see his hands ready to move should that ball be right in that wheelhouse.
4 walks over the last 2 innings. Collegians have not taken advantage of it and played it a run. That could be the death of them if we're talking about it later in the game. Nico Nincy has a chance right here. Runners on first and second, 3-2, 2 outs. They're going, and again a walk, 3 straight by Rivera, and that may be the end of his day in relief.
Could be one of the reasons why we're not seeing any action is because one of their pitchers is currently on the field right now and actually can't warm up.
Well, Rivera's going to stick out there, which is a gutsy play there no matter the circumstances. And first pitch, finally a fastball, as I bet Brady Mitchell was taken there. He struck out twice, once in the fifth and once in the second, had a sacrifice fly RBI coupled in between. The right-hander who led JUCO in doubles last year. Slapped over to the third base side, just foul.
Ball ended up kicking foul on the last bounce. Third baseman Levi Leisingring made a nice line for that ball in order to make him fire over to first base, but it did kick foul, giving Brady Mitchell another opportunity.
Bonar on third, Cash on second, Nitze on first, all on walks. They've got 8 hits and have drawn 2 or 3 walks rather this inning. 8 hits overall in the game, not this inning. 1 hit in this inning, but it was erased on a caught stealing. 0-2 the count against Brady Mitchell, but before the pitch, the pitcher Jared Rivera steps off. Can't wait to see him there. That pitch misses. Hiking ball that cut across the top of the zone never reached its desired destination.
And if that's the first pitch we've seen in the upper portions of the strike zone. Of course, it was outside the strike zone as it was too high, but that's the first ball that we've seen that high from Rivera. And if he gets it down just a little bit and leaves it over at the letters, Brady Mitchell can hit it for yet another double.
1-2. And again, bases loaded here. 2-2. Brady Mitchell, who struggled to get RBI in the first half of the year, has really come on in that category as of late. And here could be the game changer. Collegians need to capitalize on these 3 walks with 2 outs here. Aces this down the left field line and foul.
And that's the exact type of pitch that Rivera cannot afford to make again. Mitchell seeing Rivera for the second time now. Struck out in that first appearance last inning in the 5th.
We'll do 2-2 again. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Rivera comes set, the pitch, in on the hand, jam shot in the middle of the infield. 5 walks surrendered by him over the last 2 innings, and that may be the story of the game. We'll see if Collegians pitching can keep shutting him down. Will Massa, after 6, may be stretched out for a 7, or we'll see a reliever come out there. We'll tell you about it when we come back for the top of the 7th. Collegians ahead 4-3.
Rough Riders 3 coming about in the 7th. Lost it.
That was a good call with
It's unreal. I mean, it's like. Oh, you will.
You're so bench warmer.
That was really funny. I only saw a movie once, but I can't remember.
No.
Is that the Schwarzenegger character? Might have been, yeah.
3 now for the Rough Riders. Left fielder number 25, Sawyer, lost it.
Back for the top of the 7th, and a surprise as Will Massa's back out for his 7th inning of work. First pitch, breaking ball in for a strike against Sawyer Lofstead. Lofstead has reached base twice, once on a fielder's choice and a single. Scored a run last time around. That pitch misses. It's 1-1.
And Massa's only surrendered 2 walks.
1-1, curveball angle at least, and Brady Mitchell first is Lofstead. That pitch hung up, and to me it looks like the wheels have been coming off for Massa for over an inning now.
Yeah, he's been giving up those hits in bunches to the bottom part of the lineup. They were back-to-back singles in the 3rd. They were back-to-back singles to start off the 5th, and of course that Adam Atkins 3-run home run, and now he's Already given up one single here to start this bottom of the 7th.
Behind,
Top of the 7th.
Sorry, Patrick. Behind on Cunningham now, and 1-0, just behind, but still behind, and don't want to do that. Fastball there is low. It's 2-0. To me, it doesn't really matter what Massa does. The offense, yeah, 4 runs, that's pretty good on 8 hits, but 5 walks over the last 2 bottom half of innings and have not scored a run off that. Rough Riders basically tried to hand you the game, walks and bunches, and nobody got the big hit. 2-0, and bunt being shown and not pulled back, but Cunningham doesn't connect, and it's strike 1.
Cunningham has had 2 good at-bats for himself. He did single in the 3rd, and he flew out rather solidly to the right fielder, Marcus Altman. On deck is Mr. 3-run home run himself, center fielder Adam Atkins.
2-1. Grounded on the bunt over to the right side. Massa's only play is to first. Score that sacrifice. 1-3. Don't know if they wanted the sacrifice bunt there, but now maybe playing to tie the game already in the 7th inning. Patrick?
You know, I think I would. Certainly Rivera has got himself into a rather major jam this past inning. But, you know, we talked about the momentum that the Rough Riders had. It seemed to have gotten a bit subdued after that last inning where Rivera walked the bases loaded. So something like this and have deja vu repeat itself all over again with Atkins at the plate, well, now, in fact, you're going to have yourself a 5-4 lead.
Atkins is 1 for 3 with the big 3-run home run. That was last time around in the 5th off Massa. He comes set ahead 0-1. Massa kicks and deals. Curveball dots the outside for a strike. Caught Atkins off guard, and now Mock out, and of course with the runner in scoring, the strikeout is key, and Massa certainly has the ability to get it when it's most needed. 0-2. Left it high, and it's fouled away, fortunately. And Massa just hasn't been able to get that put-away pitch down today, Patrick.
He has been struggling with it, and besides that pitch he left up in the zone to Atkins, it hasn't really hurt him that much, as the singles up to this point have been on the weaker side.
Massa checks second, kicks 0-2. Curveball, and that umpire. Good frame by Brett, tried to get in the head of the home plate umpire, but was unable to do so.
Tom's done a nice job. He's kept it a very fair and consistent strike zone, and as umpires, Jake and I both know, the most important thing you need to have in your strike zone is consistency.
Massa's 1-2. Curveball, strike 3! He got Atkins down swinging, and considering the home run last time, that's a huge...
Absolutely big spot as the Rough Riders manager was teeing up Atkins to come up at the plate with a runner in scoring position, and unfortunately the young center fielder was not able to convert. Massa's 5th K of the game comes at a critical time here in the top of the 7th.
Still a big threat as the shortstop Jeff Sear, who has done a lot of damage to the Collegians this summer, steps to the plate. First pitch curveball hung up and fouled away right back behind home plate. And you know, Patrick, Sear has done a lot of damage against the Collegians this summer, but he's 0 for 3 in this game with a strikeout.
He's definitely one of the more talented hitters here in the RMBL, and you know, all it really is going to take is a duck snort here in the center field to score that runner Lofstead from him. So Sears in a big spot, got to put those first 3 at-bats behind him, particularly that striking out looking in the first inning.
4-3 the score, tying run on second. 0-1 from Massa, curveball fouled away by Sear, and Massa ahead, 2 strikes already with 7 strikeouts now, Patrick, or 6 strikeouts? What do we got?
5.
No, we got more than 5.
Yes, he just got the 6th one right there.
That's what
correct.
I thought. We're looking for number 7
you
right now.
You are correct, sir.
Thanks, Patrick. Massa checks second. His 0-2 pitch. Curveball in the dirt, lined over the shortstop, Addy Kosh. Goes off his body, and Brett Erickson with a big play there to jump on that ball, as it was a big round of third by Lofstedt. He was seeing that ball all the way through, had a great secondary lead. So, yeah, it was an error by Addy Kosh, but Brett Erickson makes a really good defensive play there.
And give a little credit to Lofstedt, who did a nice job slowing up his run, staggered his footsteps a little bit, blocking the view of Kosh, who had a very hard time reading that ball once it got past the pitcher's mound. That's what cost him to make the error.
First pitch misses on Lysenring, and now Massa's got first and third with 2 outs. Tying run on third, go-ahead run on first. Brett Bonar's blocking ability is going to come up, but an ability for maybe it to kick away. That pitch first by Sear. Levi Lysenring on the game's 0 for 3 with a strikeout as well. Fourth time through for Will Massa. 2-0 pitch. Curveball, this spat on to the left side, sky high. It looks like it's going to get out of play, and it's David Linehan who was closest to that ball.
More American. And with runners on the corners here in the top of the 7th, he can certainly have quite an
2-1 with 2 outs. The pitch from Moss. This can be a tough play for Erickson or Kosh. Kosh up the middle to first. A score it an RBI infield single for Levi Lysenring that scores Sawyer Lofstead. Sear moves up to second on the play, and unfortunately for the Collegians, that found just the spot off the mound where Erickson didn't have enough momentum to attack that ball.
And although we've seen Massa field his position, possibly a gold glove if we gave one out for pitchers here in the RMBL, he would be one of the top candidates. But where that ball was hit, it was just simply out of reach for any right-hander. Lanky lefty, Devin Elson.
2 on with 2 outs. Devin Elson to get the ball when we come back for the top of the 7th. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro. Six 6'7" left-hander from Alaska, and Hawaii Hilo takes the mound for the Collegians. Second, and a tie game here at 4 apiece in the top of the 7th in the first game of RMBL postseason action. This is the Collegians versus the Rough Riders. Elson comes set. Lefty kicks and deals. It's in the dirt. He's got a great fastball and a great curveball. Unfortunately, the stuff is better than the command. The command eludes him at times.
And it's the mechanics that's the issue, and we'll see how his mechanics are affected by this fake mound. It is a plastic mound.
Devin kicks and deals, and that pitch misses. It's 2-0. Told me when we were at this field he didn't pitch in those 2 games, but his leg kick, and we just saw it there, goes past the mound, the plastic mound. So he's dealing all the way out to the grass. He can't extend as far as he normally does. So he's making an adjustment out there. And that's a strike. He's also wearing athletic shoes rather than cleats, as the players cannot wear spikes on this field, and Collegians are, some of them adorning plastic spikes, some of them athletic shoes. 2-1 and fouled away. The count evens at 2-2. And the thing with that is, for me, I have a couple pairs. I'm a lot smaller than everyone, but for beer league softball, you need plastic cleats. So we've actually got Addison Kosh out there at shortstop in hot pink cleats because of they're mine.
And because, of course, you would have hot pink cleats.
2-2. Runner on second is the go-ahead run here in the 7th. Pitch from Elson. Swinging, and that is the 3rd out. But not before the Rough Riders tack on 1 and even the score at 4 apiece. We go to the home half of the 7th. Collegians need a rally, boys.
The Rough Riders in the top of the 7th. They cleared 1 error and 2 runners left on base. After 6 1/2 innings of play, it's tied 4-4.
Get some runs, Gooley. Let's go.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Rough Riders, number 12, Vinny Tarantola. Tarantola now pitching. After the seventh inning, all tied 4-4, leading off for the Collegians. Designated hitter.
Jake Shapiro, joined by my partner Patrick Lyons, as we have been all summer long. We're coming live from Parker, Colorado, in the Game Angel Park in Parker. Mark Goulart stepping to the plate in a tie game 4-4 as one run was tacked on against Will Massa, the starter for the Collegians in the top of the seventh. That ended his day as well. We've got a new pitcher out there in relief. It's Vinny Tarantola from the left side. First pitch is strike.
Went 6 2/3 innings pitched. Gave up 7 hits. Surrendered 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. Walked 2 batters and struck out 6 Rough Riders.
Just a bit game for the Collegians. Tarantola, 1-1 pitch. Two-seam fastball fouled away by the DH Goulart.
And that ball actually went on to the double part of the Double Angel ballpark on the second field. Do that all day. The 8 versus 9 game, I believe, is going on next door. Goulart hits that one to the right side, fielded easily by the first baseman Bracken, who flips to Vinny for the first out.
Easy play there for out number 1.
With one out, now batting third baseman.
And Linehan has walked in all 3 of his plate appearances. Very patient hitter at the strike zone.
First pitch misses on D's, double D, whatever you want to call him. Just make sure you call him something nice because he's going to be a man of times. He's got number 1 on his back, and of course, Patrick, he's number 1 in your heart.
That's right. Also goes by the Colonel. Does command that kind of respect as one of the military leaders of this team, but particularly call him Colonel for the way he wears his ball cap as he's walking around. Wears it low on his forehead just to cover his eyes like you would expect a military man. He's over on first base, getting a good secondary lead, which is hard to do against a lefty like Tarantola.
Altman at the plate. He's got a single in the ball game, 1 for 2 with a sacrifice as well. First pitch misses high. Careful about these base runners. They do run out of base running today, which probably would have scored a run, but was erased. Grounded over to the left side, and a misplay by the third base. He thought that ball was going to hop up. Collegians will take it, E5, and that moves up Linehan to second as Altman reaches first. Tough play out there for the third baseman, Levi Leisenring, and the way baseball goes, he was the man who tied the game with a hit in the top half of the inning, and he's the man that's the GOAT right now with the error that put the go-ahead run at second for the hot-hitting Brett Erickson.
And that's particularly the reason why I was hoping that the runner Linehan was not used aggressively, because if he had gotten thrown out, Erickson would not get this opportunity with a runner on second.
He's 3 for 4 in the ball game. He's got 2 RBI, both on a home run that gave the Collegians their 3rd and 4th runs of the game. They have not.
Get down, man.
Back with my partner Patrick Lyons in between innings, top of the 8th upcoming. Collegians just left them loaded, and they've left 15 on base. Score is tied at 4-4, and that is the story of this one right now.
At back-to-back innings, they left the bases loaded. In the bottom of the 7th, if we lost you, what happened was Goulart made the first out. Danny David Linehan singled, giving him a 1-for-1 day as he walked his first 3 at-bats. Marcus Altman, borderline single. He reached first on an error. Erickson struck out. Gioso drew a walk, and with the bases loaded, Brett Bonar did his best job to try and hammer a curveball from Vinny Tarantola over the center field fence, but came up just short for the 3rd out. So as Jake said, 15 runners left on base here, 6 in the past 2 innings alone.
Right back up the middle into center field. Nico Nincy will settle under it for the first out, despite the smoke shot off the bat of Jack Norris. And Brett Bonar made solid contact to end the 7th inning, but unfortunately was hit right at the center fielder. Just not able to get the big hit. Collegians haven't scored since the bottom half of the 4th inning, the 2-run shot by Brett Erickson. Last time up there in the 7th, struck out in a big situation, and an error was costly for the Collegians as well, as it knocked out Massa of the game, essentially, as he allowed the 4th run, and that's why Elson is on now after getting the last out of the 7th in his 2nd inning of work behind 1-0 on Brock Downing, the catcher, and a fastball that beats him there.
And I think you touched on a piece there, the fact that when Erickson did hit that 2-run homer, the score was 4-0. And the Collegians do have a tendency of letting their foot off the throttle. They did exactly the opposite of that in their early part of the season during their 11-0 run, but they lost that flow. They've lost that ability to keep the pedal to the metal.
Downing. Elson, who's out of the windup and looks like he's throwing from first base. The lefty deals, 2-seam fastball, and Downing able to foul it off. I asked Elson, why doesn't he just go from the first base side of the rubber? He looks like he's throwing from first base already with how big his arm is, and he says he likes to go straight up off the middle. The big lefty kicks and deals. 1-2 pitch curveball that was aimed for the back foot, and Brock Downing was smart and able to lay off.
2 on the day. He singled to center field in the 5th inning off starter Will Massa.
1-2 and slapped over to the left side. It gets foul, as would have been a hard play for Danny David Linehan. More action in the Collegians' bullpen and batting cages. Don't know if that's quite for the Collegians or the next game here.
There is a pitcher warming up, though. Looks like it might be number 3, John Kaya.
He caught yesterday all 9 innings. 1-2 and fouled away.
I had heard that, actually. It was on Twitter, and I saw his girlfriend tweeting all about that. So she did a nice job with the coverage of Kaya behind the dish.
Elson, his teammate at Hawaii Hilo, ahead. 2-2. Over to the second baseman, Brett Erickson, on the line, and able to make a catch just a couple steps over to the first base side, and that's out number 2 as the momentum's starting to die down a bit here in the 8th, as Elson has done a good job plugging the hole.
And it's the bottom part of this lineup that's been the best here for the Rough Riders. Of course, Adam Atkins has 3 of the 4 RBIs with his 3-run blast in the 5th, but it's been the bottom of this lineup that's been getting on base. 2 singles from Sawyer Lofstad. He scored 2 runs. Devin Bracken, once on a single, once on a walk. Derek Cunningham singled, and he advanced a runner on a sac fly. So very productive at-bats by these Rough Riders hitters.
Elson behind 2-0. That'll happen. Those 2 pitches very wild from Devin. Elson into the line, 2-0 pitch. Swung through and missed by the first baseman, Devin Bracken.
Bracken came up in a big spot in his last at-bat with runners on first and second base in that 5th, but was unable to produce a run.
That pitch misses as well. It's 3-1 from Elson. Off-speed pitch that caught the zone. Guess that was a changeup. Didn't know Devin had one. You know, Devin, guy that's recovering from Tommy John, certainly has some great stuff. 3-2 on Bracken. Right back up the middle. This is going to be a tough play for Erickson. Over to his right, across his body, and makes it. Out number 3 in the 8th, 1-2-3 inning. The first for the Collegians defense since the 4th. And 8th, Collegians need a rally. It's 4-4 in the first game of the RMBL playoffs.
And it's hollow. 2 more.
Right. BDE. BDE. BDE.
You like that? John K. That was funny, huh?
Yeah, that was great. That was a good streak.
I was like, should I do it? I'm doing it.
Back for the bottom half of the 8th inning, and it's 4, 5, and 6 for the Collegians against Vinny Tarantola in his second inning of relief. Last time he left the bases loaded and got a big strikeout of Brett Erickson and then a fly out by Brett Bonar. Kosh on the evening is 1 for 3 with a walk and a double. Came around to score in the 3rd. First pitch misses there.
Kosh also added the first RBI for the Boulder Collegians.
1-0 from Tarantola. Fastball dots the outside. It's 1-1. Collegian scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth on a 2-run shot by Brett Erickson. Then the Rough Riders scored 3 in the 5th on a 3-run home run and 1 in the 7th. Fly ball to right field. Easy play out there. Out number 1 in the 8th. Taken care of by the right fielder. We haven't seen any changes in this game defensively or with the lineup, so to speak. That was Derek Cunningham, and solid considering that the sun has just dipped behind a cloud in the middle of that fly ball, so had to deal with the changing condition in the sky. Nico Nincy up to bat, and he is 0 for 3 with a walk. Showing bunt down the third base line. This is going to be a tough play for the third baseman. Not in time from Leisenring. Nincy's got a bunt single with 1 out here in the 8th.
Excellent piece of textbook bunting. Nincy knowing that he can get himself out of the box. Bunted it on the harder side. I don't even think a barehanded grab from Nolan Arenado would have cut down Nincy.
It was hard but perfectly placed, and Leisenring was playing way back because nobody on the Collegians has even showed or toyed with bunt. Brady Mitchell, big-time doubles gap hitter, will ground over to the shortstop. On to second for 1. To first. In time! Big double play for the Rough Riders to get out of the bottom of the 8th. The bunt single by Nico Nincy immediately erased. We head to the 9th. It's tied 4-4. RMBL playoff action heating up here on the Boulder Collegians YouTube channel.
No errors and nobody left with the Collegians after 8. We still tied 4-4. Scheduled for the Rough Riders here in the top of the 9th, Boston Atkins.
Tomorrow on deck. Oh.
inning, all tied 4-4. Leading out for the Rough Riders, left fielder, number 25, Sawyer Lofsted.
Top of the ninth here in Parker, Colorado at Double Angel Field. Devin Ellison on in relief for the Collegians, and it's the first game of our MBL playoff action. It's been a really good one, and Ellison and the Collegians need to break the tie. They'll have to pitch a clean inning here. First pitch of the inning is a curveball that misses away on Sawyer Lofsted. He's got 2 hits in the ball game, 2 singles, has scored 2 runs as well. 8-9-1 for Ellison here in the ninth. That pitch misses low as well. Haven't seen Ellison walk anyone just yet. Has an ability or propensity to do so sometimes, and thus far it's been 4 up, 4 down for the big lefty out of Alaska. Right back up the middle for Ellison. Tough play for Addy Kosh, spinning and making the grab and the throw. Great play by the Parker native Addison Kosh, coming over the bag. Trevor Story-like spinning onto Gabe Gioso for out number 1 here in the ninth.
A marvelous 5-star play by Addy Kosh, making up for that error we saw back in the 7th inning that ended up allowing a run to score. And momentum is starting to shift back the Collegians' way.
Defense matching defense as the double play ended the bottom of the 8th for the Collegians. First pitch curveball misses on Derek Cunningham. Ellison working from the wind. The big lefty kicks and deals. Fastball there. Ooh, just misses a bit low. That downward plane of Ellison's fastball, unlike most guys that you see around this league. Ellison into the wind again. 2-0. Fastball misses away, and don't want to lose the 9-hole hitter. He's got a single on the day, 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Did so in the 7th. Nobody has scored since the 7th inning when the Rough Riders tied it in the top half. 3-0 pitch, curveball drops in for a strike. Ellison can locate that pitch very well. On deck for the Rough Riders is Adam Atkins, has the big blast in this game. A 3-run shot is 1 for 4. 3-1 from Ellison, and that's a fastball in on the outside half on Derek Cunningham for a 3-2 count. Wonder what Brett Bone took. 3-2. There's a fastball in on the hands, jam shot foul.
And you got to go back to the well again until Cunningham proves that he can straighten that ball out and get around on it.
Ellison looking in, shakes off his catcher, then says yes. Full count pitch, there's the hook, didn't get it down, and that's a 1-out walk for Ellison, first base runner he's faced in relief of the starter, Will Massa.
And you know, that's why, in my opinion, you don't throw that curveball, because he hasn't been able to command it for strikes frequently, and fastball certainly is hittable. But if you can induce some weak contact or a ball that's hit right at a batter, it's no harm, no foul. You don't need a strikeout in that spot.
Ellison working from the stretch, comes set, checks first. It's a ball a bit high on the center fielder, Adam Atkins.
Atkins has been in the 4th one. It's the one that's mattered most. It was a 3-run home run in the 5th inning that got this team back in the ballgame.
1-0 pitch, grounded over to the third base side. Tough play for Danny David Linehan. Can't get the double play and can't get a single out. It was on his backhand, smashed. Was going to have to make a backhand play. Was initially thinking about throwing it to second to Brett Erickson, and in that transfer lost the ball. Scored second base runner there, and it's first and second with men on and has done nothing. 0 for 4 in the ball game. Ellison looks in at his catcher, says yes. In the stretch position comes set, lifts and fires. It's a fastball for strike 1.
That fastball down and in has been hard to hit all year. We've seen Ellison surrender more walks than hits, and that fastball on the inside, if he can control.
Ball fouled away, and it's 0-2 on Sear.
Quick update, it is 1-0. Are defeating the Pirates in
leading,
the 3rd inning.
Not defeating yet.
That's right, they're leading.
Hopefully defeating for them.
They're a good ball team. They're a good club, that's for sure.
0-2, Ellison comes set, 1 out, first and second. Curveball never got there. It's 2 who I believe are watching out there, and time it is out there, Patrick.
Or what day, for that matter.
Some parts of Alaska, maybe a different day. 1-2 pitch fouled back.
Devin's parents are?
I don't. I've never actually asked that question. Or if Devin's brother. I know Devin's got a brother as well. I wonder if maybe, like, what if his family's all my size, 5 foot, and then Devin just popped up to 6'7". 1-2, 1 out. Elson kicks and deals. Curveball jammed over to the third base side, foul, and great two-strike approach here from Sear, extending the battle.
Or Sear?
That ball hit Sear.
Bonar's the one walking around hobbling a little bit.
Well, he's taking a beating anyway because he's a catcher.
That's right.
Tends to happen. Have to check on extra inning rules. Patrick may see something unique. 1 out, 1-2. Runners on first and second, and a fastball in on the hands, jammed foul off the bat of Sear.
That's true. In the minor leagues, they have implemented a rule starting this year whereby starting in the 10th inning, the player that made the last out gets started on second base. It's helped speed up a lot of the extra inning ball games.
Go ahead run on second. 1-2 pitch from Elson. Curveball. Ooh. Thought it caught the outside. So did Brett Bonar, Devin Elson, and the entire Collegians roster. Instead, the count evens to 2-2 on Jeff Sear, who was just... And the ball is completely unnecessary on the throw. Just cost the Collegians a tied game. The Rough Riders take a 5-4 lead here on the second error of the night by the Collegians. And I believe... somebody was just ejected?
No, I think second base.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say. What happened was the runner on second left second early, and I noticed that when that happened. The Collegians just appealed, and he had left second base early. So a heads-up play by the Collegians catches the runner who is tagging from second to third on the ball hit to center field. We caught it on our Fate Brewery replay. We can go check it out. And Nitze threw it into third. Linehan threw it past the runner at second, which was the guy moving from first to second. But the guy that was on second initially who had scored was out because he did not wait long enough to tag from second to third. So that is the end of the top of the ninth. It is tied at 4-4. Collegians catch a great break and another opportunity as we head to the bottom half of the ninth inning here in a crazy RMBL playoff game.
I was thinking that was the other option, and I didn't get a chance. I actually think I got it right. So I marked it as like F8. So on the runner on second, F8, 5, 4.
Well, wasn't the runner on second?
Yeah, that was the runner on second. Yeah. So it doesn't actually really matter that he came around, et cetera, et cetera. Wow. It's funny because I was like, oh man, Nico's going to come out and his throw is way offline.
Elson left early, right?
Save it.
Being out the home half of the ninth for the Collegians.
Mark Goulart set the lead off for the Collegians here in the home half of the ninth inning. It is 7, 8, and 9 for the Collegians in a tie game at 4-4 in the RMBL playoffs. Vinny Tarantola on for his third inning of relief work here. Out of one where the Rough Riders were trying to tag to second to third. That pitch misses. It's a ball. And Derek Cunningham, the right fielder, left second base early. And fortunately for the Collegians, it was saved them a tie game.
Got Goulart 1 for 1, but that's simply because he walked his first 3. Certainly with Alcorn State, unfortunately, his season was done in by a... Don't want to re-aggravate that knee. Meadows certainly the season in these playoffs, but of course, young foot, no pun intended.
1-0 pitch, and Linehan pulled it back. It's a wild pitch. Don't know how the home plate umpire scored it, but Goulart just ended up on second base either way. And the umpire says he did not go. So 2-0 on Danny David Linehan, and now he'll be bunting for sure as he can move the go-ahead run to third base. Rough Riders will play in at first base for the bunt attempt. Middle infielder still playing a bit back. Second baseman now cheating to first. Danny David Linehan, now that was ruled a strike. It was an appeal. It's 1-1. At least according to the scoreboard, that pitch high, it's 2-1.
I think they might have even been going down to the second base umpire to see if Linehan had fouled the ball off. It did make a sound, but it had hit the mitt.
Outfield playing pretty deep here. Tie game, first game of the RMBL playoffs, 4-4. Danny David Linehan's reached base all 4 times today and pulls back a bunt. It's 3-1. Last time he reached on a single, he's walked thrice as well. If he walks here, all it does is continue the force outs for the Rough Riders. His run will not matter. Collegians walk it off if they get Mark Goulart in from second. Tarantola behind 3-1. Comes set. The lefty deals. Right back towards the shortstop. Diving play by Sear. And it's going to double up Goulart. What a play by Jeff Sear. It was hit on a line by Danny David Linehan, one of the hardest hit balls of the game, into the 5-5 hole, and Sear laid flat out horizontally to make the catch, and he made the second out of the inning as well, running over to second. An unassisted double play for Jeff Sear.
Sear was even leaning towards second base on that one to try and keep the runner Goulart close to the bag. Made an outstanding play for the first and second outs here in the bottom of the 9th.
Wow, and you thought because Linehan was ahead 3-1, swing away, that's a good decision. Maybe you want to bunt because that was the worst possible outcome for the Collegians, and it completely changes the dynamic of this game as Marcus Altman steps to the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th and nobody on. And again, either base running miscues or left on base by the Collegians costing them. They've left 15 runners on base, and the last 2 innings they've gotten into double plays.
Really, it may even be the matter of the buttons that were pushed, because Linehan, sure, you let the kid swing away and have the game-winning hit, but all he needed to do was push a bunt down to the right side to advance Goulart.
Pitch called a strike on Altman. And why is Mark Goulart going on contact there was my question with no outs. Maybe with 1 you send him on contact, but no outs, that's a strange play there from the Collegians, and Altman swings through that. It's 1-2. There's somebody getting warm in the Rough Riders bullpen, and Altman's behind 1-2 as the Rough Riders can get out of this inning behind Tarantola right now. Altman with a single already on the day. This pitch in the dirt, bounced over to Sear. He's going to make all 3 outs this inning. Across his body, draws in the first game of the RMBL playoffs. Jake Shapiro, Patrick Lyons will be right back for the top of the 10th when we come back.
For the Collegians in the 9th, no runs, no hits, no runs, and nobody left after 9 complete. Nothing settled. It's 4-4. Headed to the top of the 10th. Schedule for the Rough Riders: Levi Lysenring, Luke Lysenring, and Morse coming to bat.
Lou, you getting overtime? Yeah. Yeah.
Talking to me? I don't run anywhere. We walk there. How about that? I feel it. I saw you didn't get a fucking glove on it. It'll hurt. Oh. Like when I wake up.
Top of the 10th for the Rough Riders. Third baseman, number 28, Levi Lysenring.
Top of the 10th here in Parker, Colorado, Double Angel Field. First game of the RMBL playoffs. We're tied at 4. Devin Ellison on the hill. The lefty kicks and deals a curveball for strike 1 against the 3-hole hitter Levi Lysenring. He singled and RBI'd in the game-tying run last time around. That was in the 7th. Another curveball in for a strike by Elson.
We may have had a couple technical difficulties that cost you a couple outs or innings, but we're going to make up for it now with some extra frames.
0-2, grounded over to the left side. Addy Kosh charging in, makes the play across his body, and great scoop by Gabe Gioso, out number 1 here in the 10th. First time the Collegians have played 10. They have played extra innings this year, particularly at this field, Patrick, where they played 8, and the Game Day Saints walked them off, but once again, it was 8 innings because it was scheduled to be 7. We'll talk about how we got here after this pitch. First pitch by Elson, sky high into left. Brady Mitchell coming in on a light jog will reach to his head and grab it for the second out.
The Collegians got off to a hot start. Erickson singled in the first inning and later came around to score to put the Collegians up 1-0. Another run on a sac fly by Brady Mitchell scored Addy Kosh to put the score at 2-0 Collegians. And a 2-run home run for little man Brett Erickson gave them a 4-0 lead to spot starter Will Massa.
Curveball misses by Elson.
In the 5th inning, though, he ran into a bit of trouble, giving up back-to-back singles and later a 3-run home run to Adam Atkins to get the Rough Riders back in this game.
1-0, curveball over to the left side. Danny David Linehan grabs it chest high across his body, and that's out number 3. Quick 1-2-3 in the 10th. We'll see if the Collegians can walk it off in the bottom half in the first game of the RMBL playoffs. We'll be back in just a sec.
For the Riders in the top of the 10th, they're going over. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left.
You all good there?
After 9.5 innings, it's still tied 4-4. Collegians coming back in the home half of the 10th. Scheduled lineup, top of the order, Erickson, Gioso, and Lohner.
Not that much on me.
Yeah, I know. I think they have it on there as 39. It should be 38. New pitcher? Yeah. Put it on the card as 39, but it should be 38.
Got it. Thank you. Here you go.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Rough Riders, number 39, Schaefer Thompson. Thompson now pitching.
Bottom of the 10th and top of the Collegians order. Brett Erickson set to lead it off, and he's been the hero thus far for the Collegians.
Vinny Tarantola's day is complete. He went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, and did not give up a single run to the Collegians, thanks to a little bit of help from his defense and shoddy base running, if you could say.
Schaefer Thompson on. First pitch, a ball outside against Brett Erickson. Gabe Gioso on deck. Brett Bonar in there on the hole. This is the 6th at-bat of the game for Brett Erickson. 1-0, and Erickson fouls at bat. He's got 3 hits in the ball game, a pop-up and a strikeout. Of course, the home run. That came all the way back in the 4th inning. Extra baseball here in the first game of RMBL playoff action. Is it free baseball or discounted baseball? You decide, as that one misses 2-1.
If it's on our YouTube channel, it was already free to begin with, so bonus. Bonus coverage here on our YouTube Boulder Collegians channel.
Thompson kicks and deals and fouled back by Erickson. The count evens at 2 apiece. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro. We've been with you all summer here on the Boulder Collegians YouTube channel. Was hot as heck to start the day, 95 degrees at first pitch, which was 4:30 already. We're at 7:11 in the night. It was a pretty fast game thus far. We're in the 10th. Erickson checks his swing, and it runs the count full. Collegians have been retired in innings with 2 straight double plays, 8th and 9th. One was a grounded into double play, and one was a line drive. They've left 15 on base during the course of the game. They've left them loaded 3 times. Schaefer Thompson into the wind, 3-2. Grounded over to the left side. Jeff Sear, who's made 3 straight outs, but can't make that one. Bit it on the transfer. It was a tough bounce on the last one. Hit him rather in the palm of his hand rather than the glove pocket, and as he tried to move it from his left to his right, the ball squirted out, and it's an E6 to start the inning.
Now, the last time Brett Erickson found himself over on first base, he was thrown out by starting catcher Brock Downing in the 6th inning. We'll see if the young speedster is off on the first pitch.
Gioso showing bunt, pulls it back. Last time around, the Collegians got a leadoff base runner on first, moved up to second on a wild pitch. They pulled back the bunt attempt, and it was a line out to Sear at shortstop that cost them that double play. They're really going to try and get this bunt down now, play it safe for Brett Bonar, power hitter on deck. Gioso at the plate, pickoff attempt to first. Back in safely is Erickson. Gioso in the game has struck out 4 times, walked last time. That was back in the 7th.
Did a nice job in that. That was very patient. Going to look to do the same again here.
1-0, bunt being shown. Gets down right back to the pitcher, Schaefer Thompson. Tough bounce. Can't get his footing, and he can't get the throw off. Erickson's headed to third on the poor throw, and it's a sacrifice bunt with an error attached. Probably score that a single and an E1. And not only does the run get to third, but that would have been a huge out number 1. Now they're going to have to do it the hard way with 3 in a row.
And with the best hitters in this Collegians lineup, Brett Bonar, Addy Kosh, and Nico Nincy, the guys you see at the top of the top 5 list in most categories of runs and RBIs, the ones that are crucial here in this spot.
Bonar on the day with 2 hits and a walk. He's 2 for 4. Has not scored a run and has no RBI. Infield playing in, outfield still playing pretty far back. Don't know how they would get the runner from third, and Bonar's going to be intentionally walked for Addison Kosh, who on the day has a double and is 1 for 4 with a walk. So bases loaded, go-ahead run on third for the Collegians in the first game of RMBL playoff action. Collegians need to win the whole tournament if they want to go to the NBC World Series in Wichita. Starts right now. Infield playing in, outfield comes in a bit. Addison Kosh at the plate. First pitch by Thompson. Fastball at the knees. Strike 1. A big spot for Addy Kosh, and we've seen him come in clutch a couple times. Grew up just a few minutes away from here in Parker, Colorado, and can do it on a field he grew up playing on. 0-1 to Kosh, and line foul down the right side.
Kosh has the first RBI in this ball game and is certainly looking to have the last.
It was an RBI on a ground out in the first. Collegians scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, have not scored since.
And that single, that fielder's choice by Kosh did score Erickson, so the same play is on in this position.
Thompson into the wind, 0-2 pitch. Kosh up the middle, the shortstop's here. Tough play, Collegians win it! Addison Kosh walks it off in the 10th for the Collegians. They win the first of the RMBL playoffs, and look at Addy Kosh running all the way into center field, avoiding the water bucket. We'll catch up with him in just a second. I'm Jake Shapiro. He's Patrick Lyons. Collegians win 5-4.
Super 5 also had a walk, too.
2 RBI.
1 run, 2 RBI, yeah.
Collegians 5, Rough Riders 4.
Hear that sunscreen back?
Next game, too.
Well, the story that's really solid in 6 2/3 innings pitched. Got himself into a couple jams, not very hard hit balls, but singles nonetheless. It was the 3-run home run from Adam Atkins that got the Rough Riders back into the ball game in the 5th inning. Another run by the Rough Riders in the 7th tied it up. And unfortunately, due to a bit of misfortune for the Collegians, they ended consecutive innings on double plays. They left. The bottom line is this. They get the 5th run. They push it across the 10th inning for their 3rd walk-off win of the season. Jake Shapiro's got Eddie Kosh, who has the 1st and 5th and most important RBI for the Collegians. He's catching his breath. He's not going to dry off. And Jake Shapiro.
Hot day. How's it feel to get an ice bath?
Oh, it was actually pretty nice. It was hot out here on the turf. It's probably like 100 degrees outside, so it was nice.
You had the first RBI of the game, I don't know, 4 hours ago, that last swing where you grounded out to the shortstop but drove in the game-winning run with a 2-strike approach.
Well, the bases were loaded. I was just trying to score that run and give my team the opportunity to
Game of RNBL playoffs and do it in dramatic fashion. Is this a lift for you guys, especially with at second base Brett Erickson and Massa throwing a couple strong innings there?
You know, it's great to get hot and get rolling in playoffs. That's when it means the most. And once we get rolling.
Again on Saturday, he's Patrick Lyons. Back up to you upstairs.
Collegians win 5-4 here against the Rough Riders in Game 1 of what will be at least 15 games in the RMBL playoffs. There will not be a 2 first-round games going on. We'll see if we can maybe get you an update on the other game going on, the play-in game. But nevertheless, we'll be back on Saturday. I'll see what I can do as far as maybe trying to find what time that game would be.
Yeah, why don't you try and look that up, Patrick, and I'll provide some more recap stuff. Massa was great as the starter today. We talked about it a little bit with Devin there, with Addison there, and then Devin was great in relief as well, shutting down the Rough Riders, and we talk about it on these broadcasts. Teams that hit a 3-run home run are super likely to win baseball games, and unfortunately for the Rough Riders, unable to do so. And it's an error by Jeff Sear, of all people, that ends up costing the Collegians there, or the Rough Riders there, after making a couple sparkling plays in the 9th, unable to do so to start the 10th. And the Collegians take advantage finally after leaving 15 on base over the course of the game and grounding into a couple double plays. Finally, they take advantage. It takes an extra frame, but they get the job done eventually.
Nice W by the entire Collegian team. We saw them do it on the offensive side as well as with the pitching. And today's W means they will be playing Saturday at 7 p.m. right back here. I do know there are some games that are held at All-Star Park down in Denver, but I believe these next round of games will still be here at Double Angel Ballpark. And I hope it is here, because the other ballpark I got to look at, there's a gigantic bubble out in center field for where they have indoor football practices, and there's a track, so that can't be a very good hitter's eye.
Well, Patrick, we'll see, and we'll try to provide you with the best broadcast we can. I know we had some audio difficulties and technical difficulties throughout. Glad we got the wrap-up moments. Couple final notes. Devin Ellison picks up the win today in relief of Will Massa. Schaefer Thompson picks up the loss in his, well, it wasn't even a third of an inning there, as he allowed a couple of knocks and errors. That one run was unearned that cost the Rough Riders the game. So the Rough Riders head to the loser side of the bracket in this double elimination tournament, the Collegians to the winner side. He's Patrick Lyons. I'm Jake Shapiro. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Addison Kosh for joining us after the game. You didn't hear from him, but I can guarantee you that Will Massa joined us before the game, wasn't able to play that interview, and we will talk to you on Saturday. Stay tuned on Boulder Collegians Facebook and Boco Collegians on Twitter to find out where and when that game exactly will be broadcasted, because we're going to love bringing it to you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you very soon.